Hello viewers, today we are making sambusa or samosas from scratch with very thin and crispy homemade wraps. In this tutorial, I will share with you all the tips and tricks for the best samosa. So these are vegetarian samosas. We'll be using green grams or mung beans, and these are packed with protein. They're very high in protein, 11 grams per serving. So if you've never tried green grams, this is your time to try them. They're very popular in Kenya and we use them in samosa a lot. So I'm going to be boiling 1 cup of Ndengu. In Kenya, we call them Ndengu. Just boil those in about 6 cups of water. Of course, rinse them before boiling them. So just let them boil slowly. And now we are going to make the dough for the samosa wraps. I'm measuring 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that I'm adding half a teaspoon of salt. And then with lukewarm water or even cold water, go ahead and make your dough. Keep it firm. If you make chapati, this should be the same consistency with chapati dough. Go ahead and knead your dough, and when the flour is fully absorbed in the water, you will add a little bit of oil. This will just help to reduce the chewiness of the wraps, make them more crispy when you fry them. So add a tablespoon of oil and then keep kneading. At some point I did add about 2 more tablespoons of water because I thought I like to work with a softer dough. So you can see the texture of my dough here. It's ready. Once you've kneaded it and it's smooth and it has no lumps anymore, go ahead and shape it nicely. I like to spread a little bit of vegetable oil and then just place it there, cover it, and let it rest for at least 30 minutes. Now our ndengu or green grams are done. So when you want to keep this firm, you do not want to overcook them for a stew. No, you want to have this firm. You want them to keep their shape. So there's little water left, and I'm going to continue boiling until that liquid dries up. But if you feel like they're firm, they're cooked enough, and you still have liquid, go ahead and drain them on a sieve or something. But here they are fully dry and I'm ready to fry them. It's a very light seasoning for this ndengu, so I'm just cutting up a large onion. Red onions are really good for this recipe as opposed to any other type. Go ahead and chop up the onions. Again, I like to keep the strings a little bit longer. So add a little bit of oil, fry the onion, and when it's ready, we are going to add the green grams and very light seasoning. So you want to keep the oil on the low as well because you do not want your samosas to be greasy or oily. Now add in the green grams, mix them into the onions. I like to use a lot more onion, and I mean, if you're Kenyan, you'll agree with me that a lot of samosa makers like to add a lot of onion to the ndengu. Now we are seasoning with just curry powder and salt. Curry powder, the curry powder we use in Kenya is called simbambili. So if you can get simbambili, perfect for this recipe, but any other type of curry powder works just as fine. Mix it in, and then you're going to let them cook a little bit for 1 or 2 minutes covered, and then when they are fully done, cover them, set them aside, and let the ndengu cool down slowly. And now we will move on to our samosa wraps again. The dough has fully relaxed by now. You're going to cut it into halves, and I'm going to set this one half aside for another recipe which is upcoming, another samosa recipe for the meat lovers. This is a vegetarian option. So I'm going to just divide up my dough into equal pieces. You could use any method that you like here, but I'm just using the demarcations on my mat to cut this into 4 equal pieces. You could work in batches of 3, in batches of 4, or in batches of 5 because you're going to be layering this. You'll see as we move on. Shape those into balls. The balls you cut, the size of the balls you cut will determine how large your samosas are going to be. So, yeah. So now we are going to roll this out and layer them. Very important as you layer, because you cannot cook this one at a time. They will be too dry. They will lose the moisture. And as you try to fold them into samosas, they are going to break. So you want to layer them up and cook together. and then you're going to peel the layers when they are done. So roll them out into the thickness of a regular chapati and then apply some vegetable oil all over the surface. Do not leave any spots because they could stick. And then sprinkle some flour, again, all purpose flour. And then you're going to roll out the other pieces and repeat the process until you have layered up all your pieces. So lay it on top of this one. And then you're going to repeat the same process with the oil and the flour. Sprinkle some flour, not excess, just a little bit. And this is important because it's going to help the pieces peel when you cook them. Otherwise, your chapati could stick into one, your pieces could stick into one large chapati, and or they could break as you peel them, which would make your work very difficult. So again, repeat the process until you do the last one. I'm working in batches of 4, which is the best number. I think it's like the magic number. 3 also works fine, but 2 is a little too little and they will dry out. You want to retain the moisture as much as possible. So now roll this out into a wide chapati, but be careful not to roll them out too thin because your samosa wraps will be paper thin. You also don't want to keep them too thick or they will be chewy and maybe they won't fold nicely enough. So roll this out into, in this case, I want my samosas a little large. So I will show you, I'm going to be using a plate, which is, let me just show you. This is the plate that is kind of like my measurement. And so I'm making sure that my rollout is bigger than this plate so that later I'll be shaping them using that plate. This is ready to go to the pan. Preheat your pan on medium low. At the highest medium, you do not want high heat. And then just lay the chapati, I will call it chapati, lay it in there and let it set. As soon as it's done setting, flip it over, let it set again and take it off the pan. Do not overcook or it might dry out. Now you're ready to shape this. So as you roll it out, the edges are going to be thicker and even, and that's okay. But that's why we are going to cut those edges off and have everything looking uniform. You could use a knife here, anything I think could do if you don't have a pizza cutter. So just remove those edges. And now you have a very beautiful set of samosa wraps. Now we are going to peel this. Peel very gently. Be very gentle. You do not want to tear this because they will mess up the samosa making process. So if you did everything right, they are going to peel very easily and you will be all set. I mean, yeah, it's quite a lot of steps, but it's worth it because these samosas freeze so well they freeze so well. And so you could make a big batch, stock them in the freezer and just be reheating them, bringing them to work and stuff like that. So it's really worth the process. Yeah. So after you're done peeling these, lay them out, make sure they're all evenly, they're neatly laying on top of each other so that as you cut them, everything comes out nicely. Now, I don't trust myself with cutting straight lines, so I decided to use this big straw. I think I need a kitchen ruler, maybe. But yeah, I used this straw and I cut them, but I still feel like one half was bigger than the other, but it doesn't matter too much. So now cut them into quarters and we will be ready to start making the samosas. Just keep things neat, keep those edges very neat. They will make your work easier when you start creating the samosas. So this is what we'll be working with. In the past, I've posted samosa recipes with tortilla wraps, and so this step is usually like just cut the tortillas into quarters and move on. But now we are doing everything from scratch. And so here we are with the final product of the samosa wraps. Now let's make the glue batter. Just about half a cup of flour, a little bit of salt if you wish, and cold water. Just make a paste that's thick enough to hold those samosas together later. So let me show you the consistency here. It should be running but thick, not too light. Yeah, I'll be using that brush to apply it to the samosas. Here, the green grams, they've cooled down. These guys are very high in protein. They're very nutritious. So if you've never tried them, you should try them. They taste like beans, just like, all other types of beans, but very nutritious. Very popular in Kenya, and I also know that in other parts of East Africa as well as in Asia, especially India, they do eat a lot of green grams. Okay, so this is how you fold your samosa. I think I'm not going to talk here. I'm just going to let you watch it. And yeah, hopefully especially if this is your first time, hopefully you can replicate this. It's usually very difficult to explain these steps like fold the flap, fold, turn it around. But anyway, as you fill them, make sure you do not overfill or underfill. I always say this in all my samosa recipes, that fill the samosa just enough so the flap can fold in like I did there, and it seals everything in, and then apply the glue and seal the whole thing nicely. So if you overfill, of course you would notice that it's not sealing nicely, and you do not want any openings on your samosa, because when you fry it, it's going to take oil in and get greasy. And it could even make the oil dirty for the next batch of samosas. So you want to keep everything tightly sealed. And of course, the secret to that is filling them enough. If you underfill them, they're going to be so, not, they're going to be, I don't know how to say it, but they won't just look good. And they might also take oil in. Okay, so another demonstration. Fold it over like that, and your samosa is ready. It's a bit messy. I didn't wear gloves this time, forgive me. But yeah, we are done with making the samosas. Now, before you fry them, you want to cross check just to make sure that everything is tightly sealed. In case anything came loose, fix it before you take it to the hot oil. This is the method to check if the oil is hot enough. So the bubbles should be coming off of your wooden spatula. Drop in the samosas gently and fry them until they are golden brown on both sides. You could flip them twice or even three times. After every few minutes, flip them, let them fry and flip again. With the mandazi, we just flip once, but with samosas, I like to flip more than once. But I don't think this is a requirement. It's just a thing that I do. Yeah. Another thing I did not mention with the seasoning, the green grams. Of course, you could go wild with your seasonings. It doesn't matter. I mean, I just like to keep it lightly seasoned because that's how it's always been made in my family. We don't over season the Ndengu, but you could do you, and you could season them like you mean it. But keep them dry. So the samosas are ready here. We are going to drain them off the oil, place them on a paper towel or, something to suck up the, excess oil. And then those are the last ones. So for just those 4 complete chapatis or samosa wraps, we cut up 16 pieces and I used all of them. And here are our samosas. They are ready. They've cooled down a little. Like I mentioned, you could carry this to work. It's like a very nice meal. You could enjoy them at home as a main meal, as an appetizer. You decide. But yeah, that's the end of this recipe, and I hope to see you in another. Thank you very much, and bye bye.